A day without fentanyl, heroin, oxycodone, or other opioids is possible. You can manage your withdrawal and curb your opioid cravings with FDA-approved medication from Ophelia. Ophelia is a telehealth provider, which means you don't have to get in your car and travel to a clinic or sit in a waiting room for hours to get access to life-saving medication if you're eligible. No more taking off work or arranging childcare gymnastics. All you need is your phone or a laptop to video chat with an experienced clinician online. There's zero judgment. Ophelia providers understand addiction and treat you with the respect you deserve. The best part is that Ophelia accepts insurance, including Medicaid, so many patients pay $0 for care. You're sick of addiction treatment scams, and so are we. End the relapse cycle, manage your withdrawal, and curb your opioid cravings with FDA-approved medication from Ophelia. Visit Ophelia.com/radio to learn more today.
Following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here is your host, Karl Sterling.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Your Health Matters right here on News Radio 570 WSYR. You know, you can also listen on 106.9 FM. And it's great to be here, great to be back at the microphone again with my co-host, Elizabeth Brusa. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
It's been like 6 days.
I know.
Yeah.
Long 6 days.
Yeah, I had a little teaching to do out of town, and I did it. I'm back, and it's great to be back. Just always feels so good to be back home, you know, and I haven't been to the clinic yet, but I'm looking forward to getting back tomorrow.
Okay. I hope so.
Oh, yeah. Well, as you probably are aware, we're a longevity-focused program. We started, I started back at January 21st. I think this is episode 24 today. Can you believe that?
No.
Holy cow, time goes so fast. But, you know, this particular past week, I had a lot of contact, let's say, or people reaching out who listen to the show. They've made appointments to come in this coming week. I didn't even tell you about that, but we have some new people coming in this week. So I'm really excited to meet them. But I'm also grateful for the amount of, listeners who are out there. There's quite a few. So thank you, folks, for listening. I appreciate this very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Another big thank you goes out to all of you who have supported me in this Mr. Health and Fitness 2024 contest. I'm no longer in the game, but boy, I got a lot further than I thought I ever could, finishing 5th place in the quarterfinals on Thursday night this past week. So what I want to say about that is this is something that's was very important to me to be a part of for a number of reasons. So I just want to say thank you so much. Some of you invested money and hundreds of dollars, some of you, to purchase votes, because that's the way it works. I mean, it's a vote-based competition, right? So the 4 people ahead of me had more votes. That's life. It didn't get stolen from me. They earned it. Okay. So these were these people. I have a large following, about 500,000 or so online. Well, big deal. These people have millions and millions. So to have the little following that I do compared to the others really means that my followers stepped up big time, and they supported me. Now, your investment did go to the Be Positive Foundation. Okay, it didn't go to me. I get nothing. I don't want anything. But what it did do is help with fighting childhood cancer. So thank you again, folks. I got 5th place in the quarterfinals. I couldn't be happier. Moving right along, let's go to the book of the week. I read this on an airplane on Tuesday called, oh, by the way, if Dolores, our friend in Salve, is listening, thank you for telling me about this book, my dear friend, Glucose Revolution. I read it. I love it. I'm going to read it again. In fact, I'm going to buy the hard copy because I listened to the audiobook. It's by Jesse Inchauspe. I'm going to spell it for you. I don't know how to pronounce it. I-N as in Nancy, C-H-A-U-S-P-E. Inchauspe. Okay, or just go online and look up Glucose Revolution. We'll talk about it more in this show today. Podcast of the week, I don't have one. You know, I've been listening to a lot of different things. I went back to the Andrew Huberman podcast this week because he has a great guest on there recently named Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. So I would check out the Huberman Lab podcast. Today's topics are going to include the following: assessments and the importance of various assessments, especially one in particular we want to discuss in detail. Nutrition. Sleep, something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I have, but very little on this show. Perspective on things like standard therapies, treatments, and surgeries versus progressive, proven, outside of the box type of things like that people are resistant to. We're going to talk about why are they resistant to something when it's proven, hands down, 100%. Well, nothing's 100%, but mostly close to 100% is going to work because there's a paradigm shift that needs to happen in the brain on this, and we'll get to that. The other thing we'll hit at some point today is metabolic health, metabolic flexibility. So, Elizabeth.
Yes.
How about we start off with our most revealing assessment, something you and I have been really wanting to talk about.
Yes.
What assessment is that, my friend?
The VO2 max.
Yes. And also the resting test, too.
The resting. Well, yes.
Yep. Would you like to talk about yours?
Sure.
How about this?
What would you like me to say about it? You
well,
tell me.
What I was thinking is I have talked about this a lot, so I don't want to feel like I'm beating people up over this. But I also want to talk about the relevance of these two tests. And it's really, really important for those who only want to do one or the other. I'm just going to tell you it's very important to do both tests. Because I had a very good VO2 max test on a treadmill.
Right.
My resting test wasn't that good. It puts me at a high metabolic risk, which we'll talk about. Okay, so you need to do both tests. Now, a year ago, I had a really good resting test and not that good VO2 max. It wasn't bad, though. It just wasn't that good. So doing both tests is paramount. Let's start. You want to talk about your test?
Sure, we can talk about mine. I don't mind.
So I'm looking at your test right now.
Okay.
What I wanted to say is congratulations because you
Thank
crushed these tests.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself.
Now, you really wanted to do this test, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I know.
First time wasn't.
Why did you not want to do it?
Well, the first time I did it, I didn't like my results, but
Right.
yeah. And the second time, I was very hesitant. It's the first time I thought I would do a lot better, and I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
But now, the second time, we made a bet, and I lost. So.
Well, I think, time goes so fast on air, so I'm going to just skim over what each test measures. And then when we come back from break, we're going to go into the next quarter hour talking about each of the metrics.
Okay.
What it is and how it's measured. So resting test overview. You're measuring resting metabolic rate. You got 95% there. That's great. Fat burn efficiency, metabolic fitness, heart fitness, lung fitness, and two more things. Cognition and breathing. So breathing and cognition. In other words, the way you breathe when you're at rest,
Right.
you're going to have a degree of ability to process information, like cognitively. Well, yours is 100%, so you did great. And there's a seated posture you want to have, which is basically a posture that allows you to expand your lungs and then fill them and then exhale. You got 100%. Breathing and posture.
Is that my resting or my? Is that my resting or my?
That's your resting.
That's my resting.
Now, this real quick before break. We got about a half a minute left. The next test metrics tell us your aerobic capacity, cardiovascular fitness, fat burn efficiency, metabolic rate, recovery capacity, breathing and cognition. We'll talk about that. Breathing and stability. We're going to go out to break, folks. It's Karl Sterling, Elizabeth Brusa here on Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're live, right? Okay, let's continue with the VO2 testing. Well, let's go with the resting test, because if you come into our clinic and you do it, this is what you're going to do first. You're going to sit down. We're going to put a mask on you. We're going to calibrate some things. Then you're just going to sit there for minimum 10 minutes, but maybe more like 12 to 13 minutes, so we can gather data. And you just breathe through your nose only, is preferred.
You also have a resting. You have a heart monitor on you also.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're going to wear a heart monitor. So let's go to, is this my test or yours? That's yours.
No,
Mine.
that's yours.
We need yours. Okay, so are we on the resting test? Sorry, folks, having a little ADHD moment here, which is pretty much all the moments.
Yes, it's resting.
There we go. Resting test. Elizabeth Brusa, here we go. So the first metric is telling you your resting metabolic rate.
Yes.
What is it?
The resting metabolic rate score is a gauge for how fast or slow your metabolism is. In other words, whether your body is burning more or fewer calories than what's predicted based on your weight, gender, age, and height.
Right. Typically, the older we get, the slower it gets. But it tells us what to do, doesn't it, to
Yes,
increase?
it does.
Yeah. So how do they measure that?
They measure it. It calculated by comparing the resting metabolic rate measured by the device with the estimated value generated by the Harris-Benedict equation. The Harris-Benedict RMR value is calculated based on your age, gender, weight, and height, and is referred to as the predicted metabolic rate.
Right. Thank you. I remember the Harris-Benedict formula when I was at SU doing the nutrition program.
Okay.
And it was like the gold standard metabolic rate predictor formula. Like, you have a certain metabolism you're supposed to have at all points in your life based on those factors: height, weight, age, and gender. So let's just say, we're right now, you got 95% on this, okay? I'm going to see what I got on mine, though, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't that good. Mine was 89%. Well, not bad. But, okay, let's just say you wanted to improve it. It will recommend what to do and what priority to place on these three things. Resistance training, so this includes any type of training that will build muscle. Interval training, which is like a zone 5 cardio thing. You know, if you ever heard of heart rate training zones, well, you got zone 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Zone 5 is going to be your high heart rate beats per minute, right? High. It's going to be a short duration, but higher intensity. Endurance training, though, and this is the third category, is endurance training zone 2, something maybe like brisk walking. Your heart rate's lower, but to improve this metric, it is suggesting to you, and now this is just this metric, okay? At the end of all these metrics is an overall summary of where to spend your time working out.
Correct.
But if you only wanted to work on this metric, it's going to say in order.
Resistance.
Yep. Build muscle.
Interval training.
Do zone 5.
5.
And then zone
Okay.
2 is going to be your last on the list. So you would prioritize.
Unfortunately, I don't like interval training. I'll weightlift and I'll walk, but I don't like running.
And I got to tell you, you are strong. Man, you are strong. It's so impressive. So it also, though, it's going to tell you some nutrition. It's going to give you nutrition suggestions. Now, some of the things you'll see on here you may not like, but I mean, basically they're trying to give you an overall idea, like eat more protein. That's something lean protein. Thank you. That's something that my test definitely said to do.
Mine did too.
Yeah.
Mine
And
does too.
Brazil nuts. And everyone's favorite seaweed. Okay, well, I'm not going to eat it. I'm sorry. But there are other things I can eat that are green, that are rich in iodine and some other things. But you'll get ideas of things to do. Plus, for each metric, you're going to get lifestyle intervention suggestions. For example, increase protein. If it says it twice, it probably really wants you to do it, even though your test is so high, right, your score. Avoiding extreme dieting. I can tell you right now that has to do with they don't want you to lose muscle mass. And people who fast for too long, too often, especially elderly, we're going to talk about that today too when we talk about nutrition and the order of how to eat your foods to regulate your glucose levels, your blood sugar. Extreme dieting is usually not a favorable thing the older we get. And then, I don't know
This
what that
makes
one
me laugh. Standing office work.
Yeah,
because
that's all
what
you
I
do all day.
is stand all day.
You
do. So
You do.
I don't understand why they were saying that, but that's
Is that
okay.
funny? So the next metric, fat burn efficiency. My eyes are really blurry right now. Can you read what that says?
It's what it is. I am fat burning efficiency. I'm 73%, and it's what it is the ability to burn fat as a fuel source at rest. And how it's measured is the RER values closer to 0.7 reflective a higher rate burning efficiency score, whereas resting RER values closer to 1.0 reflect a low-fat burning efficiency score.
So you had a good 73% there. So this is going to give you another set of intervention strategies for exercise, nutrition, lifestyle. And rather than go through each of these, I just wanted people to hear an example for each, that they have examples and suggestions for each metric. So we had metabolic rate. We discussed those in detail. Fat burn efficiency has another set of ideas for you. Okay, but at the end, it's going to give you an overall that encompasses all the metrics. Metabolic fitness.
Yep.
So this is here. I'll read this one.
Okay.
It's a gauge of how well your body converts nutrients like fats and carbohydrates into energy that it needs to move and sustain vital functions. For example, brain, heart, and lung function. It's measured. Basically, the metabolic fitness score is calculated by combining resting metabolic rate and fat burn efficiency scores. Add them up, divide them by 2, and the number you get is going to be what this is. That's why it's 80-something.
Nice.
Because 73 plus 95 equals whatever, divided by 2 equals 84. All right, next one. This is on the resting test, folks. Heart fitness, 65%. Good. What is it? It's a gauge of your heart's, your cardiovascular system's fitness and a risk factor for heart-related conditions measured by analyzing heart rate variability let me rephrase that. HRV or heart rate variability biomarkers such as low and high frequency bands. I use a Whoop. Whoop calculates my HRV. Like when I woke up today, it was really high. But I'm up first time in the green for over a week because I was just crushed during this travel. I do not travel well. That's all I'll say about the travel. Except that it's really good to be home and finally in the green instead of the red for recovery, because the red, I just feel horrible. That my heart doesn't function as well and things like that. So anyways, that's heart fitness. Lung fitness, yours is 100%. Right, what are we measuring there? Gauge of your lungs, condition, and risk factor for respiratory-related conditions. Right, it's calculated based on the tidal volume, or the amount of air exhaled in each breath, measured during the test. Okay, so during this test, it's going to measure all this stuff. A reduced tidal volume is a risk factor for developing lung conditions. We both got 100%. Yay.
Well, that's great for you.
Yeah, it's really good. I've had, if you know me more than 3 or 4 years, you'll know that since the early 90s, I have had chronic respiratory bronchitis type of situations. More antibiotics in my life than I should have had in 10 lifetimes. And upper lobe scarring in both lungs due to smoke inhalation, secondhand smoke from a career as a musician, a drummer, playing in smoky venues from age 14 until, 2014 when I stopped. I had an overlapping career, so I did part-time music, first 5 or 6 years of doing this type of stuff. Then I just bagged it because I was bored anyways, just totally burned out. But if they say that COPD can't be reversed, now I'm going to go off for a minute away from the test. I want to tell you that they're correct. You can't reverse it. However, because the scars are still there, the upper lobe lung scars are still there. But guess what? You can improve your lung health by practicing various things. Okay, I saw my pulmonologist, Dr. Davin, who I love. I just love that guy.
I know, he's a good guy.
He's so great. And so I do all my breathing tests, and I blow everything right out of the water. Second time in a row. Last time was back in December. But 2 years ago, I was diffusing 70% oxygen, meaning 30% shy of what I should, because I had problems. Well, guess what? I said 196%, and then I don't remember the other percent. I just know it's like twice as much as what I need. As he says, you greedy son of a gun. You're diffusing enough oxygen for 2 of you. But I practice breathing exercises. I do it in the morning usually. I do it at night when I go to bed. I do it during the day when I feel stressed. I can regulate and reset a lot of things for myself. I take a certain peptide. When I exercise and I go hard, and that breathing helps me a lot. And I've been doing more zone 2. And the power plate. The power plate shakes up all that mucus. It's really gross, folks. I'm going to tell you right now, we've even had doctors come in to get on this thing. They lay down on their front. They lay out on their back. It shakes up all this crappy, gross, awful, terrible mucus in your lungs, and you hack it up and you spit it out, and it's gross. But would you rather have it out of you than in you? I want it out of me.
Me too.
Yeah, so, something kicked me on this trip a little bit, but I'm bouncing back fast, and I'm breathing well, and I feel good. So anyways, your lung fitness is great.
Thank you.
And mine is now too.
That's
Yay.
right.
Breathing and cognition, 100%. So what are we looking at here before we go out to break? Reflects breathing's person's ability to think and perform cognitive tasks at rest. We'll come back, folks, and talk about more on the other tests. You have breathing and posture. Your posture was great when you're seated. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, folks. This is Your Health Matters News Radio 570 WSYR with Elizabeth Brusa. My name's Karl Sterling. Come back for the next quarter. Okay, and we're back. We're back to talk more about this testing. Okay, the reason we're talking about this testing is because it's the only way you can get this information. This is the only way. You can't get it through blood work. You can't get it in any other way than the way you get it, which is through this testing. Okay, you put on a mask, you do the thing. Breath analysis is extremely revealing and extremely powerful in regards to the information you can get to make interventions in whatever in your life between nutrition, lifestyle, and exercise to help you live longer, live better. The last thing, I want to go back on this breathing and posture because Elizabeth, you pointed something out, and I don't believe it was on my resting test. But look at what it says here. You pointed this out to me, so I just want to sleep pose.
Yeah.
So that there's a lifestyle lifestyle suggestion here that if she wanted to improve, well, you know, it's 100%. But if you want to continue getting a score of 100%. And related to breathing and posture, your sleep pose, what does that say exactly?
Sleeping in a position that supports the curvature of your back is important to maintaining a healthy posture. Lying on your back while placing a pillow under your knees or on your side in an embryonic pose greatly increases the chances of promoting good posture.
Yeah, I'm a side sleeper pretty much.
So am I.
Left side, usually. So very, very interesting that it takes all these things into consideration, right? But you were sitting when you did the test. I mean, you can do this test laying down, but we don't do that. But it's just more helpful information. And by the way, folks, these tests are, let me just check the dates on here because on my calendar, and the pricing is changing, which means I have to change the pricing. So July 27th. I might have it published as July 26th, but on July 27th, it's the last day to get a package where you pay $250 to get both of these tests. And it's going to take about an hour total, even though the 12 minutes or so for resting and probably 15 minutes, 17 max for the moving test. There's preparation, there's discussion, there's this, there's that, about an hour. $250, and we're not offering single tests anymore. It's either both or nothing. Because, like in my situation, like I said, my resting test was not as good this time as my first one. I'm at a higher metabolic risk right now. What is that? Oh, it could be a heart thing, but it won't be a heart thing. But it could be if my heart score was low. My heart score was very high. It could be that I have too much fat and not enough muscle. There it is. Ding, 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 ding. That's what it is. Plus, when you look at my, I just had an ADHD moment here. What am I talking about here? I'm talking body composition, how things have shifted. Thank you. I'd say that my blood sugar level, even though it's okay, I could be headed down the pre-diabetes road if I'm not really careful. And this is where we'll talk in the second hour. We're getting into self-regulation on this, all this, a lot of stuff, because it's so important, right? And controlling yourself, taking control over your life. Okay, so let's now move on and talk about the ramp test, which is we're ramping up. You come in, you either have the rowing machine, the stationary bike, or the treadmill. First 3 minutes, you're going to be at a certain speed based on the test intensity we choose for you. I did the beginner running test, and I think
I also did the beginner.
You did too,
test,
because
yes.
I'm not a good runner, and my fastest run is probably just almost as fast as you can walk.
Yeah.
You know, if I hit 5 miles an hour, it's pretty fast for me. So that's because my hips don't like it. And I have 2 new hips, and I don't know if that has something to do with it. But when we look at your test here, we go into a whole different set of metrics, including we're going to know now the the age at which your body is functioning at biologically, which is 11 years younger than you are chronologically.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You're 11 years younger than you are. I was 9 years younger. So I'm glad about that.
Well, it's still better than 9 years older.
Yeah, and we do have people who've come in and they're like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years older biologically, but then they retest, they do the work in the middle of the test, they train. Now they're maybe 2 years older than they are or younger. So it can all be changed, folks. It just has to do with work that you need to do, knowing where to spend your time so you're not wasting time. But speaking of wasting time, I mean, we have people who they don't want to take these tests. So, let me get more fit first, and then I'll come in. No. Come in and then get fit, because you could be spending the wrong time. You could be spending time in the places where you're not going to benefit the most, and you can't know this until you come in and take the test, so you can decide where to spend your time: resistance, endurance, or interval.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you go to the doctor, he takes blood or urine, and you get the results. Those are your results, and he'll tell you what to do, what to be on. This is a less invasive test. This is your own breath being analyzed. So this is your results also. It's just like going to the doctors and getting a blood or urine, and it's your results, what your recommendations. But this is a lot less invasive. It's fun. And you get your results, and you learn how to actually improve physically to improve your results.
Thank you. I never thought of it like that. But you know what? It should be a standardized test for everybody. You know, as far as we know, we're the only ones doing this in Syracuse because we have people coming in from out of town, you know, Brockport, Lockport, Rochester. They're coming here. Watertown. They're coming here. Cortland. They're coming here. You can't get it anywhere else, apparently. And if you do, it's going to cost you more, and you won't get the same metrics because they don't use the same high-end device we have, which gives you all these things. The only other places I know of, university maybe a hospital, if you can even get in to do it, is only going to do a moving test and only give you a score.
Correct.
A VO2 max score, and that's all you're going to get. It's almost time for another break already. So, jumping to the end of this test, let's talk about, we'll get into the metrics of it, but what I really like about this, like in the first test, we know now an overall thing of, overall, to improve all metrics, you have your priorities are set out for you: resistance training, interval, and endurance. And on this one, your workout priorities are determined for you. Your 50% cardio, 25% zone 5, 25% of your time in resistance training. And we need to go to a break right now. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you in a minute.
And we're back. So we were talking about the VO2 max and the importance of it. Like I said before, it's your breath that's being analyzed. It's like going to the doctors and having your blood or your urine checked, but this is a breathing test that is your results, what is best for you in your lifestyle, and how to change or make better and improve your scores if you do this test. It's very easy.
Right.
Well, there's a little work to it when you do the
urine,
moving.
you do it with blood.
Right.
You can do it with breath.
Right.
Yeah.
And this doesn't hurt your body at all.
No, we don't poke you with a needle. You know, you just wear a mask and then
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I mean, there's no way to fail these tests.
No.
I mean, unless you're.
And a casket.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, if you're breathing, then you can do them. And I can't emphasize enough, though, folks. I cannot possibly emphasize enough. I'm not trying to even sell you anything. I am trying to sell you on the idea of, even if you're outside the central New York area, find somebody with the Pinoy analytics system, because it's the best, highest grade system out there, period, hands down. Okay, that's why there are like 3,000 universities, Stanford and Harvard and Johns Hopkins and all these other places using this system instead of a standard one that weighs 1,000 pounds. There's a tube coming out of your face that extends 10 feet over to this 1,000-pound machine that only gives you a score, only does a moving test. No, you need to know your resting score. I've had people come in and do moving scores and not do a resting. I'm not allowing that ever again. I'm also not allowing any resting only. You've got to do both, because if you don't do both, you can't know where you stand. Had I only done a moving test, I wouldn't know that I'm a higher metabolic risk right now at rest. Right. So my body's actually working better while I'm moving than it is when I'm sitting, which means I need to sit better, move more, build muscle, sit better. Okay, so when we get to the moving test, by the way, again, $250, and it's not just that, folks. This is half price. I'll tell you why it's half price, because for another $250, it's what we usually charge, but I have a bunch of free credits from the company, and I'm passing them along to you, all right? I'm passing them to you. It's a free one-on-one consult with a Pnoy metabolic genius named Petros, okay? I'm telling you, he's a genius. He will answer things that I can't. I know a lot. He knows more. He's my consultant for this, and he will be yours too. He's our assigned consultant. Okay, so you also get a 90-day app-based nutrition plan. Whether you choose to follow it or not, that's up to you. But it's thrown in for free. Both of these things, usually $125 a piece. You get them for free. You will not get it past the 27th of this month. The test is going up, and so are the other things. So now's the time to remeasure, or measure or remeasure if you already have. You text me at 315-935-7488, or go to karlsterling.com, Karl with a K. Shoot me a message from there, email or text or call. Leave a voice message because I won't answer. It's Sunday, and I just don't answer on Sundays. And if I don't answer, it's because I'm busy, and I'll just call you back quickly. But you got to get this set up. You got about 4 weeks to do it. 4 weeks from yesterday is the last day for a $250 deal. It'll be the best $250 you ever spent. Okay? All right. Moving test has the following components. Aerobic capacity. I like reading this one. I'm going to tell you what this one is. Aerobic capacity is one of the best predictors of overall wellness, since a high oxygen absorption or VO2 peak requires effective operation of critical organs, namely lungs, heart, cells, and blood. Therefore, aerobic capacity provides one of the most holistic pictures of every system essential to a long life and athletic performance. It's measured by calculated based on your VO2 peak, which is your volume oxygen peak, which is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can absorb. The higher the volume peak is, the higher score you get. All right. Then, of course, we have metrics. So for you to improve yours, which is 91%, they want you to maybe do some interval. Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Cardiovascular fitness. It is what you think it is. Oh, besides, you get the nutrition suggestions for each metric. 86%. Good for you. All right. It's amazing. Fat burn efficiency while moving. 71%. Beautiful. Beautiful. Metabolic rate. Beautiful. You can't get better than 100%. Right? So right. How well your body's using energy, burning calories. Also, we're also looking at both of these tests, your body's ability to use oxygen for energy at rest and during movement. All right. We also have recovery capacity. You recovered well, meaning when you get done with whatever test you're doing, whether it's the, treadmill, whatever. Well, at the end of the test, when you're done with it, 3 minutes. It says 2.5. I always do 3, maybe 3.5. We're measuring your body's ability to recover and get back to more of a normal, breathing and heart rate and everything like that. When you do these tests, by the way, I never did even finish saying that you come in and you are at a warm-up level for like 3 minutes. At the third minute, you're going to go up incrementally, either by a certain number of miles per hour, which for us it was 0.2.
I believe so.
Because we both did beginner treadmill.
Right.
So you start off at like 1.8 miles an hour or something.
I think so.
Or no, 2.5.
All I know, it's too slow for me.
It's too slow for both of us. Yeah. But then again, at the end, we're pushing.
Correct.
We're really pushing. Like, so at 3 minutes, you're going up, I don't know what it was, 0.4 miles an hour every minute, starting at the third minute. So that by the time you get to like, we got to get 9 minutes out of you. Okay, that's the minimum. But usually we don't have to go more than 10, 11, 12 minutes. Right. And then you're done. That's it. And you're pushing really hard. And we know, because I can see on the iPad when I look, I see the oxygen uptake and the carbon dioxide out, what you're exhaling. And when those lines cross and you're taking in less oxygen than you're exhaling CO2, I know you're done in 2 minutes. 3 minutes if you're an athlete, 1 minute if you're deconditioned completely. Right. Sometimes when they just begin to merge, people are done. It doesn't matter when it is. What matters is you do it, and then you get these results. Okay, so now that we have this, you have a VO2 score of something like 36, which is really above average, considering all things considered. It's age, height, weight, gender, and performance. So now we know we're going to spend 50% of your time Zone 2.
Zone 2, yay.
A quarter of your time each week or whatever, resistance training, and the other quarter, high intensity.
I know.
That is if you want to achieve those results. We also know that this is going to give you an accurate, I repeat, accurate window for heart rate training zones. Folks, if you're going by the 220 minus your age to get your maximum heart rate, it's probably not too accurate. It might be absolutely dead on for, 1 out of 100 people. The rest of it's not dead on, okay? So for you, based on your data and your performance, your Zone 2 what's your Zone 2 heart rate target?
105 to 113.
Great. So could be walking, right?
Yep.
Or whatever you do to get your heart into that zone, and then just go. How about, what's your Zone 5?
159 to 164.
There you go. You're well conditioned. So, I mean, that's good. Because if you were less conditioned, it would be a lower number.
You know what you forgot to tell people?
What?
When you come in, you have to fast.
Thank you.
You have to, 3 hours before the
We
test?
would tell you that in the automated emails that come out. But, yeah, it's 3 hours of no caffeine, no stimulants, no food. But water, yes, right up till the test. Water's fine. Trust me, I want my caffeine first thing in the morning, but I live without it. I deal with it, get the test done. And then you get free coffee at the end of the test because we got the best stuff.
And bring something to eat afterwards, too.
Yeah. So, folks, that is what we're offering, okay? $250, and then after that is going up, starting on the 29th. Nothing I can do about it. Otherwise, I'm losing money, and I can't do that, or I won't be able to be here and do other stuff and help people, right? Well, we're coming to the end of the first hour here. What are we going to talk about this next hour? Let's figure it out. We're going to start it off with some metabolic health stuff and nutrition. The order in which to eat your foods so that you can control your blood sugar most optimally. What do you think about that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like that. Any comments? Any thoughts you want to share?
No, I just think it's a very good, I really think doing the testing is very good. It really has helped me. One of the things that I definitely do is I do not eat 3 hours before I go to bed. And that's what it recommended on my first test. And I've been doing that, and things have been working out better for me.
Well, you've been doing great anyways, but you're very focused. I think that what I like about this is we have some people like our dear friend who is our lawyer.
Yes.
Well, not my lawyer, but he is a lawyer.
Correct.
Oh, Mr. Lawyer, if you're listening, we love you, miss you, and hope that knee's doing well.
Yes.
He had a knee replacement, and he's just kicking butt. It's unbelievable.
He's done it 3 times now, right? 2?
4.
4 times. Oh,
yeah.
God bless you.
He has done VO2 resting and the other one moving 4 times.
4 times.
But what's really cool about it, and the reason I'm bringing this up, we've had a few people do it more than once, quite a few, is when you retest, if you've been doing the work, well, you're 3-4 months in, you do the work. Well, that work is gonna show up in your next test results because they're gonna be different. And then you're gonna know where you need to tweak it now and change directions, like that. So, hey, I hear the music, but guess what? We have another hour coming up. Isn't that exciting?
Yes, it is.
So we're going to sign off for this hour. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back after the noon news break with more stuff here on Your Health Matters 570 News Radio 570 WSYR. Thank you so much. See you after the break.
The preceding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician. The following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here is your host, Karl Sterling.
Okay, we're back. Just like Arnold. I said, we'll be back. We're back. We're back for the second hour. Well, guess what, folks? You know, in our clinic, neuromotor training, over in the Preventive Medicine Associates building in Camillus on Castle Road, we're just past Castle Road, Ron, Genesee. We're located right under Dr. Joe Barry's office in the lower level, the basement or first floor, whatever you want to call it. So it's a really cool place. We enjoy being there, and we enjoy having people coming in and helping them. Today we are going to get to a thing. This is really just fries my cookies in my brain of why is it that there's such resistance for, let's say, treatments that are working. Let's say there are therapies and treatments that are working. Hands down, almost 100% they're working, yet so people are so resistant, you know. Well, I have a whole thing about that I wrote out. But anyways, we do that kind of stuff.
Right.
And a lot of people are really, really resistant. And yeah, this is like a commercial. I mean, you know, I do pay to be here. This isn't free. I have sponsors, but it's still not free. It's because we are getting some results that people don't get, and then people show up and they're like, boy, I wish I knew about you before I started all these other things that didn't work, and all these other medications that don't work. So we've had to make some changes, folks, and then any of you are listening and you have questions about it, you would talk about it when I see you, or however it will work. Call me, text me. We had a $30 membership we were offering for quite some time, and actually there's nobody doing it, and there's a reason for that, because they can go elsewhere probably and get 30. They won't get the same stuff, but really the way it's working out is for people to really gain the benefits and take advantage of what we have to offer, and for us to actually be able to keep the doors open. And this is really what it's about, folks. We're not here to gouge anybody. Our prices are pretty low. I mean, you can go to a lot of gyms and pay more for personal training than you get for pain management treatments at my place, right? I'm not trying to toot my horn, but that program that's gone. and we're not doing it. We do have a new program, though, which is $139 a month. It's called the Power Plate Complete Wellness Package. And Elizabeth's going to read a little bit about it to you. However, before we do that, the reason we're doing this is because the Power Plate is the number one go-to device in our clinic.
Yes, it is.
Why do you think that is?
It works,
Yeah.
and it works well.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
we
it's,
can.
and it's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Can you tell us
The
about
benefits of the Power Plate are it improves muscle strength, flexibility, balance, and overall fitness. It wakes up the brain and nervous system. It reduces pain and neuropathy. It stimulates the lymphatic system drainage, increased metabolism, enhanced calorie burning, improved body composition, accelerated recovery from injuries, improved joint function, and reduced joint pain, improved balance and stability, increased muscle mass, and enhances mobility.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I'm really sensitive about pricing things, too. You know, I have been accused of underpricing and giving too much away by pretty much everybody who's looking out for me. You know, it takes a lot for me to get rid of a program that I created with the intention of making affordable, but nobody does it. And then, you know, I had one person who wanted to do it last year, but they only want to come in at like 6 p.m. It's like, I'm not staying that late.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's another reason why
I'm done. I started
yeah.
7 in the morning. I'm not staying.
Yeah.
I work my butt off. I'm tired because it's really tiring. I love what I do, but we're both working our butts off.
Yes.
And I'm not staying that late for one person. So that's why they have gyms that are open 24 hours or they're open until 10 p.m. And, you know, they won't have a power plate. But the other thing, too, is power plates, as all things, they cost money to run, maintain. And so we also have to keep our doors open, folks. And we do have a profit margin. It's very low, but we have one. And I'm here to offer things to more people, reach out. And this is a program we came up with. And we will teach you, between Elizabeth and me, we will teach you how to use the power plate. She just happens to know more than I do about certain things with it. But I promise, by the way, you won't be stuck with all the work on this, okay?
Sure. He says that now. You heard it, so you're all my witnesses.
Okay. No,
it reduces stress, too, by the way, so this is going to reduce my stress by...
Well, I hope it does.
Okay.
You might need to go over there right after this show because, and I do have a small power plate I'm bringing in, and I know it's not anything like the one we have. However, it's a power plate, and there are things you can do on it. So if the big one's busy, you can use the little one until the big one's free. You know, we're just going to make it this is a healing program.
It is.
It is I'm have resolved that beginning tomorrow, I will be on the power plate doing most of my workouts. Because I on the plane, I also read a whole bunch about fat burn. Guess what I need to change? Some of I don't have a lot of fat. It's the lowest it's been in probably ever. Except that it's still too much and I need more muscle. So it helps to grow muscle and burn fat. Well, that's what I want to do. That's why VO2 test told me to do that.
Right.
So power plate's going to help accelerate this, and I'm going to do it. Darn it, I'm just doing it. So much like the biodensity, which you can come in for as little as $160 a month, although I'm thinking of changing that one too. So if you want to come in for once a week for $160 a month, you better jump on it fast, folks, because I'm probably going to require people do twice a week on that pretty soon, or just invest in a larger package that takes you longer to get through. Because people with skin in the game, that is also known as money out of pocket, do better, generally speaking, than those who go month by month, sort of show up, sort of don't show up every 10 days to 2 weeks for something. It doesn't work as well. skin in the game always works. Works better for me, works better for most. So, anyways, $30 a month. I'm sorry it's gone, but we can't afford to do things the way we've been doing them. So, oh my gosh, it's almost break time already. I almost forgot to look at the clock. So guess what? When we come back, we're going to talk about nutrition, but now you know we got a Power Plate Complete Wellness Program. We're excited about it. It starts right away tomorrow. Okay, so this is News Radio 570 WSYR. My name's Karl Sterling. I'm with Elizabeth Brusa. This is Your Health Matters, and we'll be right back. And we're back again. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. Before we do, though, is there something about that Power Plate membership you wanted to say? Did you say that there is something you wanted to say?
I did not. It also, the Power Plate is wonderful for reducing stress, improves circulation and muscle relaxation. It improves heart health, increases stamina, and better blood circulation. But this is where my baby comes in. It's about the bone density. It helps with bone density and reduces the risk of osteoporosis and improves skeletal strength, which if you do it right after the biodensity machine, it helps add to your bone improvement.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tammy, she did half a pound of bone mass in 1 year doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, there are people who they benefit in that regard too. Right. So, there's a whole lot to talk about. Oh my gosh, we were just talking on the break how maybe I need a 3-hour show every day. I don't think anyone wants to listen to 3 hours of what I have to say every day. Well, we got so much to get to. I want to talk about nutrition, okay? Now, that was my major in college a few years ago at SU. All I want to say about this is, we had this epidemic of obesity and people being overweight and blah, 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 blah. And I've been obese in my life, right? There was a time where I was obese for this period of time, and I was just overweight for a long time. Well, I didn't even know this stuff then, and I managed to lose 70 pounds without knowing this. And I might have done it sometimes, but if I did, I didn't know I did it. But it really has to do with regulating your, let's say, the glucose, the blood sugar levels, by eating your foods in a certain order. So let's talk specifics. First of all, we want to know what to eat based on our test results from the VO2 resting and moving tests. Now, don't forget that your doctor or doctors or your food preferences or food beliefs or this and that, or vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, whatever. If you don't eat any meat, fish, whatever, or you do, whatever you do, that's up to you. But you're going to need to get your macronutrients. You're going to need to get your healthy fats. You're going to need to get your carbs. You do need them, folks. It's not like you don't ever eat no carbs. But how many, what kind, and in what order, all right? And other things, maybe your celiac disease, gluten intolerance, things like that. So there are a lot of different things. Allergies, food allergies. I mean, the list goes on and on. So always remember, you can talk with your health professional, maybe somebody like Dr. Barry, if he's your doctor. He probably has a lot of advice too. But I am going to suggest to you that in the end, how much you eat is going to be extremely relevant.
Yes.
It's just the way it works. There's also an order in which is likely best to eat your macros. Okay? Because we want to regulate blood sugar and insulin levels. Let's talk about these orders of eating things. So, if you eat your carbs first, let's just say you're going to have a spoonful of confectionery sugar. Hence, take that spoonful and put it on one of those donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. Hey, I love them. Simple carbs, single bond, versus a complex carb like a high-quality pasta. Triple bond. Single bonds break down fast and spike up insulin levels quickly and your blood sugar quickly. Triple bond breaks down slower, so you are not spiking so quickly. All right, well, either way, simple or complex carbs, and I would say, try to stick with the complex. I eat them last in my meals. What I eat first are my fiber. It's fiber. The leafy greens, the carrots, a salad.
Right.
Right?
The spinach.
I love
Kale.
raw spinach. I do not like kale, but
I
eat
don't like
kale. If
kale.
you like kale, you should eat it. There's a lot of stuff I don't like. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. I hate it. But if you like it, eat it. But there are plenty of green things I like too. So get that stuff in your stomach because that's going to help line the stomach. There's a lot of research on this, folks. I didn't make this stuff. I'm not smart enough to make it up. So I learned, I document where to come from. Is it relevant? Is it a good source of information? Is it proven? If it is, I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to try it. I try it. This is what I do. And then I share with you. Eat those salads. Eat those veggies first. Next on the list, protein. Eat your proteins next.
Lean protein.
Thank you. So if you're going to have protein, make it lean. Eat it after the salad. Save the carbs for last. It's that simple. Period. Now, a couple other caveats here. Drinking fluids with your meals. I fall in the guilty category. I drink water or fake beer sometimes because I like the Athletic Brewing non-alcoholic beer because it's 0.0% alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, period. It's not good for me, and I'm not good with it. I don't feel good. I'm actually afraid of what it will do to me. We have a show coming up on that soon, by the way. 1 hour, not 2, about alcohol and dangers and how poisonous it is, by the way, and how it can really ruin your brain and other things in your life. Okay, so, yeah, nobody wants to hear it, but nobody wants to hear the truth sometimes. That was me for a long time. So we're looking at...
Drinking water you were talking about.
Thank you. She's looking at me like, he lost it. He doesn't know where he is. True.
This is ADHD.
Because the enzymes get diluted. There's, food enzymes, they digest your food.
But I'm very surprised that you're not supposed to drink water with your meal. That surprised me when I learned that fact this week from you, something that you sent me.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised in it because I don't drink anything else with my meal. What are you supposed to drink is what I'm going to ask you.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to drink the water 30 minutes before I eat.
Yeah.
And then when can I drink it again afterwards?
Oh, like half hour later, maybe.
So 30 minutes before and 30 minutes.
Yeah, because, I actually learned this back in the 90s. A friend of mine, Ron Patulski. If you happen to hear this, Ron, I hope you're doing well down in Austin. We did a lot of dietary stuff together, and I remember Ron and I were really into, I can't remember the doctor, but anyways, we didn't drink anything with our meals because it talked about this enzymes, and then I lost track of it over the years. But I was lean, man. I was so lean and fit, and I was. Some people thought I was too thin back then, but I mean, because I was 30 years younger. But I was lean. I felt good, and everything was perfect. So I've been trying to not have anything with my meal or not. So here's an idea, though. If you did have like a pint, not just like a sip or 8 ounces, but like a pint, 16 ounces or something like that of water before you eat, 20 to 30 minutes before, it might help fill you up just enough so you don't eat so much.
That's what I've been trying to do now.
Yeah. I mean, this is a fact, folks. Right?
Yeah.
The water will stay in you just long enough so that when you finally do eat, you don't eat as much. And then you wait a little while, let the enzymes not get diluted, work on digesting those foods so you get the most out of your foods, the most nutrient delivery to your cells of your body and your brain, and then have some, like me, espresso. I just love my espresso after dinner.
And
about
which
a half
has
hour
more?
after. And then something to drink. So that's just food for thought. Oh my gosh, no pun
Bad
intended.
jokes.
We could talk about fasting right now. Fasting for the elderly is not recommended all the time. Now, again, talk with Dr. Perry or talk with your doctor. See what your doctor says. But one thing we know for sure, folks, we know if you don't eat lean protein first thing in the morning and you are trying to build muscle. Now, what do we see every day? We see people with obligatory aging muscle decay. That's all of us. It happens to all of us. But some of are more on top of it, more ahead than others. They're coming into our clinic. They're doing the work. We're helping them. They're building muscle. If you're not eating lean protein first thing in the morning, there's a very good chance that your body is robbing amino acids from the muscle you're trying to build. It's depleting. It's taken away from your ability to build that lean muscle, which means that fasting might not be the best idea if you're trying to build muscle. And this goes for anybody. Okay, we had our nutrition talk. Let's move forward by going to a break for bottom of the hour. We'll come back on the other side of the bottom of the hour with more Your Health Matters. We'll be back. Okay. My inner Arnold came out. It says we'll be back, and now we're back. Folks, one of the most important things that you can possibly do in your life is sleep and get enough of it. You know that sleep throughout the lifetime is paramount of importance, whether it be infancy and childhood, adolescence, adulthood, older adults. Okay? We have so much that's happening in sleep, this restorative and so important. Now, because the age group that listens to this show is generally, well, probably over the age of 25, or let's say 50 or 60. Thank you, though. I mean, I'm one of them, 63. We really need to look at things like cognitive preservation. Adequate sleep reduces the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. It helps with our physical health and managing chronic conditions like hypertension, diabetes, arthritis. It helps decrease the risk of depression and anxiety. And it just helps with our overall well-being, all right, our quality of life and our longevity. Consequences of lack of sleep. Well, this can and may include cognitive impairment, memory problems, difficulty relating to, retaining and recalling information. Well, for some of this, that happens anyways. But if it happens more than normal, then that's more than normal. We don't want that. Reduced concentration, poor focus, increased distractibility. Let's say your decision-making may be compromised. I mean, I've been there a million times. I can't even tell you how many times. Well, you know when I come in and I'm not well rested.
Yes. It's very difficult.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
I mean,
but you also see it in me. There's times I can't.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but now you're bringing it up. Yeah, I do. It's usually I know
almost instantly when I walk in the door.
Certain people who come to see us, we just know.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have a good night, did you? No, I didn't. I couldn't sleep. Well, one of the things I want to say is we have some sleep hacks, and I want to talk about them with you. But before we do that, I want us to talk about other consequences may include emotional and mental health issues, mood disorders, and anxiety, depression, irritability. I slept really well last night, though. Elevated stress levels, difficulty managing stress, emotional, regulating emotions. And then just physical health problems, too. Metabolic disorders, okay? Increased risk of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome from lack of sleep. Because your body just doesn't work the right way when you don't sleep enough. Okay, so that won't happen to everybody. It could be other problems. Chronic pain, Wow. I mean, think about that. So, anyways, there are other things we can talk about too. Let's get to some things that might help you sleep better. I'm going to talk to you right now. I'm going to tell you, sorry, I'm hijacking the whole show here for about 2 minutes.
It's your show.
Oh, yeah, okay. So the Huberman Lab, that's Dr. Andrew Huberman out of Stanford. He's had Dr. Walker, I think it's Michael Walker, the guy who wrote a great book called Why We Sleep. Get it. Read it. Make yourself sleep better. Okay? Why We Sleep is an amazing book. Here are some stream of consciousness. They're all, I teach this all the time, so I just know what it is. Okay. First of all, there's a 3-2-1 rule. Do I follow it? No. But I also sleep extremely well almost all the time. But if you don't, the 3-2-1 rule is this. No food 3 hours before bed. No drink of any sort 2 hours before bed.
Even water?
No TV or blue screen or phone 1 hour before bed. So, yeah.
Even water you can't drink?
Yeah, well, it has to do with getting up and having to urinate during the night.
Oh.
And for some people, when they get up and then they don't get back to sleep, that's a problem. Okay, let's go into your sleep-wake cycle. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to try this. I haven't talked about this in about 6 months on this program. I talked about it in January. And it's in my second book, which is available on my through my website on Amazon, called Parkinson's Empowerment Training. But anything in either one of my books really applies to all people. All right, sleep. There's a chapter on sleep in my book. And this comes all 100% from the Huberman Lab and from the Why We Sleep book, with all the references included, of course. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is go outside, rain or shine, look up at the sky, not at the sun. It doesn't matter if it's cloudy. It doesn't matter if it's raining. Natural light from above will shine down into the bottom of your retinas. Do this for 1 to 2 minutes, and this is going to start the cortisol cycle of your sleep-wake or wake-sleep cycle. Okay, this kicks cortisol into gear. Too much cortisol is bad for all of us. If we didn't have cortisol, we would be dead. So you need it. This kicks your system into gear for a 14 to 17-hour window of being awake. No matter what time of year it is, no matter when the sun rises, you do this. Same thing before you go to bed. Even if it's 10 o'clock at night and it's dark at 5, you go out before dark. Look at the sky, not the sun. 1 to 2 minutes. This will kick, because the sensory receptors on the bottom of your retinas are different than on the top. These particular receptors on the bottom of your retinas absorb natural sunlight being the best source, or natural daylight. Doesn't have to be the sun. It can be cloudy. And they trigger cortisol in the morning, but when you do this in the evening before dark, produces the production of, helps to accelerate the production of melatonin naturally occurring in your brain to help you get to sleep. Do this every day. See what happens. Another thing you can do is, I do this for 2 minutes. It's recommended to do for 1 minute. When I get into bed, there's a breathing exercise I do. Through my nose, I inhale 3 seconds. So we go. Let's all do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Exhale 7 seconds out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale 3 seconds in. And repeat 7 seconds out. That's going to take you 10 seconds. 1 minute of this is what they say is going to help to reset your autonomic nervous system, help you get into a sleep mode. I do for 2 minutes. And so this helps me to get to sleep faster. I usually get to sleep fairly quickly, but it helps when you get to sleep faster. And if that doesn't work, well, you come and see us, because we have frequency therapy patches that cost $5. You'll probably get 1 week out of one patch. It's not meds, it's not drug, it's not pharma. You put it on your right tempo when you go to sleep, what happens?
You fall asleep, and if you wake up, you fall back to sleep quickly.
Yeah.
Because I use them all the time.
Yeah, I did when I travel. It definitely helped, but I don't travel well. But yeah, so I mean, there are ways to manage sleep, folks. And, you know, I hate to sound like a party pooper here, but don't drink alcohol before you sleep. Some people, well, it's going to be fine. Research says it's good. Well, whatever. I don't care. There's all kinds of research that support anything you choose to believe because you can't change your behavior. You don't want to. I did it for years. And guess what alcohol does before you go to sleep? It makes you not sleep well. It only helps you get to sleep faster. Learn to deal with it another way. Okay? Maybe lighten up on the sleep meds. And of course, check with your doctor first, because I might not know anything. I'm just some kind of like this stupid guy who gets on the radio and preaches stuff. But I do have your best interest in mind. Stop drinking all the alcohol before bed. Some of you who I know do it, who won't admit it, who sort of do admit it, and then poo-poo it. Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, well, why are you 100 pounds overweight or something like that? You're wearing a CPAP, and you can't sleep, and you got all kinds of problems. I'm not judging. I've been there. Not with sleep, PAP, but just you got to get it together, man. Because the only person who's responsible, who's going to be able to take control over your health and your life, it's you. We're here to help you get there with information. We got 15 minutes left, well, before the end of the hour, so a few minutes of talk time left. So we're going to come back, right? We got another quarter to go.
Wow.
Your health matters. Thanks for helping me out here today, too. As always, I appreciate it. We'll be back in a couple minutes, folks. Thanks for listening. All righty. Here we go, folks. We are back for the last quarter of the second hour. Your health matters. Hey, Elizabeth, thanks for helping me out again.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoy it.
I enjoy having you here. This is great. I really, it's very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I learn a lot from you. Just sitting here. If I'm not talking, I'm listening and I'm learning.
Well, let's talk about perspective. There's something bothering me, folks. I got to get it off my chest. Why are so many folks resistant to change, even if it's absolutely, almost 100% proven, successful, let's say a treatment, a surgery, a therapy, and let's say it also doesn't really change what's out of pocket for you? Here's something I heard recently from somebody. Our friend, Mr. Lawyer, who we love dearly. He's such a, isn't he a gentleman?
He is a sweetheart.
We really have such great people who come to see us. Knee replacement, kicking butt, man. Probably about 4 weeks ago, not even 5 weeks ago. And he had this done in New Hartford, and I feel really bad. I can't remember the doctor's name, but I think it, I'll have it next week. So the way this doctor went about doing this replacement is different than your traditional thing here. He doesn't use a tourniquet. He gave injections weeks before to freeze some of the nerves to help with the pain management and blah, 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 blah. You look him up, he's got something like a 97% satisfaction rate or success ratio or whatever it is, but it's among the most advanced, best, fastest healing, least invasive, if you will, if that makes sense. Just the whole way they go about it. Comments I've heard, though, are, well, if it's that good, how come all the other ones aren't doing it? I threw my hands in the air with that. I understand, but, geez, I mean, somebody has to be leading the field. Now, maybe this will all in 2, 5, 10 years be normal, and then this guy's going to be on to something else.
Correct.
Well, resistance to change, even when a new treatment is proven successful and costs about the same, can be attributed to several psychological, social, and systemic factors. Status quo being one of them. A lot of people prefer things to stay the same. Fear of the unknown. Ooh, let's go with the standard. I'm not saying it's bad, by the way. It's not illegal to go with the standard. But standard things usually get standard results, and that might be totally fine. Or it might not be. You have to decide. Loss aversion. People tend to fear losses more than they value gains. I really actually never thought about that.
Me either.
I'm trying to comprehend that one in my head. Institutional inertia, professional and cultural resistance, professional identity. Doctors and healthcare providers might resist change that challenges their professional identity. Well, that's why they're doctors who, like Dr. Joe Barry, Dr. David Davern, Dr. Timothy Cobb, Dr. Anthony Rotella, and this guy out there who I can't remember his name in New Hartford who's doing this joint replacement stuff. They're establishing their identities by leading the field and doing things that others don't do the same way, therefore offering better advice and care to their patients. In my opinion, that's how it is. This is what we do too, by the way, folks. Yes, it's a commercial. I'm talking about us. We don't do standard things at our place. Oh, you can come in and do our leg press and chest press. That's normal. Would you want to build bone density? You come and see us.
That's right. We have the best machine for bone density.
Yeah, hands down best machine. There are skeptics out there. Yet when they say, well, how can it possibly work? Well, I'm sorry, but duh, it does. And it works because people do it, and it works because it works. It works because it loads your muscles a certain way through the tendons, through the bones, into the bones, and creating strength, muscle mass, quality muscle mass, good tendon strength. You know, you can have big muscles and weak tendons.
Yes.
You don't want that.
Nope.
Nope. You want strong muscles. You can actually have big muscles, though, and weak tendons. You can be a bodybuilder with weak tendons. It all depends upon the type of resistance training you do, what kind of contractions. So this is kind of like one of those out-of-the-box things that we do, but this is what works. We need to have strong tendons because this is what attaches our muscles to the bones. And if we load a muscle, we need the load, the force, to be able to go through the tendon, to get into the bone, to stimulate bone density. Bone density increases bone health, longevity.
It helps produce the estrogen, which helps produce the trabecular bone, which strengthens your bone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just got to say that resistance to adopting new proven treatments is multifaceted, involving psychological, institutional, professional, economic, social, and regulatory factors. Addressing these barriers requires a comprehensive approach that includes education, ding, 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 that's why we're here, systemic change, which we implement, and supportive policies. I'm not sure I can talk about policies or what that really means. But what we'll probably get to next week, because we have Darren Wagner coming back. He's going to be here anyways next week. So it's like, because he's here, you got to come in and join his brother, because he lost 100-something pounds.
Yeah.
150, I think.
153 or something.
Yeah, and he's one to speak on training oneself to self-regulate, especially areas like eating and drinking, right? Developing strategies to foster mindfulness, discipline, and healthy habits. Folks, that's all we have for this week, and we got about another minute and 5 seconds before we head out. Any last words of wisdom from you, my friend?
I just want to tell people to just get up off your chair, walk around your house if you have to. If you've been sitting for a long time, they say every hour take a 15-minute walk, maybe, or even 3 minutes of squats, which can improve your movement. It's important to move.
Yeah.
And it helps your health.
Absolutely. It's just, you got to keep moving, John Rady. And trying to get him on the show. He's the best-selling author from Dr. John Rady from Harvard. If I can get him on this show, you're going to love it. He's been on my podcast once. If you go to karlsterling.net, Karl with a K, of course, you'll find him down there somewhere. First thing he says in the interview is, the human body was made to move. We are designed to move. So keep moving. Keep moving. Thanks, Elizabeth.
You're welcome, Karl.
Give me a high five.
High five.
Boom. All right, folks. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. This is Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR. Also available on 106.9 FM. My name's Karl Sterling. See you next week.
The proceeding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care